what you're studying, if you know, and who wants to start?
I can go ahead.
Okay, perfect.
So my name is Abby, and I'm studying at William & Mary. I'm a freshman, and I am currently majoring in international relations and government. I'm double majoring. My plan is to go into something in either law or intelligence within the government.
I can go next. Hi, my name is Shreya. I'm a freshman at VCU. I'm currently studying interdisciplinary sciences with a concentration in professional sciences. I have not decided where I want to go or if that's the major that I want to stick with, but right now I'm fumbling back and forth between law and med.
Hello, everyone. I'm Amir. I'm also a freshman at the College of William and Mary, and I'm planning on studying both computer science and government with a focus on international relations.
Awesome. Thank you all so much. Okay, so let me pull up my questions here. The next question, so I've got some categories. We've got time at Easterview and Culpeper. We've got academics, and then we've got extracurriculars, and then my own personal questions. So what do you wish you would have known before you graduated high school, and would you do anything differently?
I can go first. So there's one particular thing that comes to mind when I look back at my high school experience and when I was searching for colleges in particular. And it's that I wish I had focused on which colleges excelled in which programs. So like, for example, William & Mary is very well known for their international relations. Some colleges are very well known for biology and pre-med. And honestly, I wasn't focused much on that in the program or how good the program is or how long it's been there. I was only focused on the school itself. So looking back, I wish I had taken a little bit more time to either reach out to the college themselves or do a little bit more research on my end to see if the program at the school that I'm looking at is good, if they have great professors, if they have good experience and alumni in that program.
Okay, I'll go next. Mine is completely school unrelated. I wish I would have knew it wasn't the end of the world. I just wish coming to college, I just wish in high school I could go back to high school me and just be like, stop crying. It's not worth it. You still have time to figure a lot of things out. Everybody's on the same page. It's good to push yourself in high school, but really just don't try to burn yourself out in high school. It's not worth it.
I feel like I had a great experience at EV. Miss Wood and Mrs. Rudd helped out a lot, but there's some things that I learned in college that I wish I would have known in high school. One of them is time management, because in high school, your days are structured. Here you have the freedom, right? And with all that freedom at once, sometimes if you don't know how to discipline yourself or manage your time, things can get unmanageable. So if I focused a bit more on that aspect in high school, I feel like I would have been much more prepared in college.
Okay, thank you all. I am going to, great. Okay, I'm going to go to the next question. How does the workload differ between high school and college?
So I know for me, at least in high school, I was able to honestly not study as much for tests or quizzes and just kind of float by, do either the bare minimum and do fine in a class. But I know in college, it was very much a rude awakening for me that I actually have to study. I have to take the time to read it and read it again and go over at different times of the day, which was definitely different than high school. I felt like it was just a little bit more time spent doing studying, at least in college for me.
I think right now, especially because of COVID, the differences between high school and college would definitely be in high school, I was in a classroom setting. So I would see the kid next to me doing my work and I'm like, man, maybe I should do my work. But in college, it's really self-driven. You really have to push yourself to do it. Nobody's going to tell you and all your friends right now, especially since you don't go to classes, most of your friends have completely different majors. So like you're not even taking the same classes. So it's like it's really just like more based on like your motivation.
Yeah, I have to agree with Sharia and Abigail. In college, there's much more work than in high school. And another thing is the way you study in college is different than in high school. While in high school, some teachers would give you study guides or they guide you through getting prepared for the test. In college, you're all on your own. You have to relearn how to study, and each class is different because each professor teaches differently. You have to adapt yourself for each class as well. So some classes, for example, I had one class last semester I barely had to do any work in, but I also had a class where I had to read like 40 pages a day. So it's finding that balance between classes as well.
Okay, thank you all. Such great advice. All right, let's do what is, you all kind of touched on what you found a little bit challenging in college. So let's do, can you share a rewarding experience about growing up in Culpeper or your time at Eastern View or maybe your experience like life in Culpeper?
Okay, I'm gonna go first. So I wasn't born in Culpeper. I was born outside of Culpeper, but coming to Culpeper, I would say that like the people in Culpeper really like shaped me to be the person that I am. And it's like it's just more genuine. Like I just feel like the experience at Culpeper, like it's just so like supportive. Like all the teachers, everyone in the community, like they're just always constantly like supporting you and like wanting you to do your best. Like I've only ever met nice people in Culpeper, but like I think like Kate taking that with me and like going like to other places, I feel like that just helps me be kind to like other people because like that's just where we come from. Like
Yeah, I second that completely. It's the people that really shapes Culpeper, especially at Eastern View High School. You have wonderful teachers, wonderful staff who are really willing to help you succeed. So if you want to look to succeed and ask for that help and accept that help, they will definitely help you. And that honestly helped me in my journey to college, having wonderful teachers, having wonderful counselors. So that that was my experience at Culpeper.
Yeah, kind of just to echo what they said. I know for me personally, I really enjoyed making connections with community leaders in particular, whether that's people on the school board, business owners in the community that I've met through classes like E Squared, for example, or just in organizations that I was a part of. When you make those really great connections, you have mentors that help you, whether it's writing college, essays, or even giving you a recommendation or just advice. And when you have connections, and they'll tell you this as soon as you get to college too, I know they let me know, is connections are really how you're going to end up getting a job in life too. So making those connections early in high school. And I know Culpeper's been a really great environment for me to do that within.
I think also another thing is that like really take advantage of the fact that you're from Culpeper because I remember texting my teachers from Culpeper like mid-semester meltdown and I was like hi like and like it's just like having like that support system like just take it with you like it helps.
Like
Oh,
once
thank you.
you're a cyclone, you're always a cyclone. Remember?
Oh, that's gonna make me cry. Well, you all are the best. Okay, last question for Culpeper EV related things. Did you have any college credit from either DE classes or Germana Scholars or maybe Governor School? And if so, what was your process like in transferring those credits? Sometimes that's like a big fear for students that they might not transfer or it might not be worth it to take those classes. So what's your experience?
Um, I'd like to go first on this one. I came in as a freshman with almost a year's worth of credits from Germana Community College, and that included classes that I taken myself at Germana and a whole bunch of dual enrollment. I also had some AP credits as well. Most of them got accepted by my institution. However, all of them were accepted as electives. So it's important to note that most of these colleges, they want you to take their own core classes. Um, so you have to keep that in mind. But however, there are a few requirements that some of the classes that I've taken ticked off. For example, my AP statistics score that fulfilled my one of my math requirements. Dual enrollment English that fulfilled some of my reading requirements at my college, and I believe a few other classes fulfilled like some arts requirements I had, but every college is different, so it's important to talk with your prospective colleges and see how they'll your credits will transfer.
I think to build off of that, I would say that I took AP classes, and I think it depends on the school that you choose to go to and what their like minimum score is. Like for VCU, like for most of their exams, if you get a 3, they'll give you this like points for it. Again, you want to like make sure that it's for your electives, or you have to see like how it contributes to your degree count. Um, I think I also took like DE classes. Transferring from Germana is super simple. Like you literally just search up Germana transcript, and then like it's like a $3 fee, and it automatically goes to your school. Like there's no like hassle or anything. Like they just handle it everything on their end. Um, Other than that, I would definitely say that those credits are totally worth transferring, because if with a few summer semesters, like I should be able to graduate like almost a year and a half early. Like so it's really worth it.
I definitely agree. And I know I can speak from my experience at William and Mary. But I think for me in high school, I was really struggling to decide between DE versus AP. And I know, like he had said, a lot of your credits are going to end up transferring as electives, which, to be completely honest, is a little bit of a letdown. I was expecting it to satisfy some of my core requirements. And when you go onto each website, regardless of what school you're looking at, they'll have a list of what classes will transfer normally. I know for William and Mary, they have like almost a 200-page long list of exactly which class, DE or AP, will transfer to which course within William and Mary. And from there, you can figure out if it's going to satisfy any credits, if it's going to satisfy requirements. And then going off of that, one thing I wish I'd done in high school is satisfy my foreign language requirement. I only took 3 years and I was 1 year short of satisfying that requirement, but it is such a weight off your shoulder to not have to deal with foreign language in college. So I would definitely, depending on what college you're looking at, see what their foreign language requirement is, if there is any.
Thank you all. That's good advice. All right, so let's move on to your time in college. So if you could just like briefly kind of go over, I know that COVID has really affected you all, especially like in high school and then transitioning into college. So can you explain, what your college situation looks like right now, whether or not you're at school or if you decided to stay home, how online classes have been? Just give us a little bit of insight as to how the pandemic has really affected your college experience.
I feel like the experience varies from college to college, but my experience so far has been great. All my classes are online as of right now, at least mine. There are some in person, but all the classes I need to take were online. So how it works out is you either go to the library or you stay in your dorm, you do your classes, and it's almost as if you're sitting in, it's like an actual class, except you're just at your computer setting, probably how it is with you all right now if you're taking classes virtually. But in regards to being on campus, it's been great. Even though you don't have many opportunities to interact with other people, there's so many other fun things to do that are still safe. I got to join the volleyball club, and even though it's a little different than actually playing a sport, the guidelines they set allow you to be physically active and have fun while staying safe. You still get to meet a lot of people virtually. You can do a lot of things. I've I'm right now into photography now. I like taking a lot of photos on my free time, walking around and exploring around your campus town, or just hanging out with your hallmates or your roommates is a blast. So even though COVID has made some things harder, it's honestly still been a wonderful experience.
So I can speak from kind of the opposite point of view. I have been completely virtual, my both semesters in college, and I've taken a combination of asynchronous and synchronous courses. So I know, like he'd said, a lot of the courses when they're synchronous and you have professors teaching are very similar to how you'd be taught in person, and professors are really great at accommodating and trying to make it work during COVID. And as far as campus life, I obviously haven't experienced it yet, but William and Mary has been really great with connecting me with people, especially within clubs and organizations. So they have club fairs, and they have group chats and Facebook groups and Instagram groups, and you get to meet so many people even if you're not physically on campus. And I know I've taken full advantage of that.
So my experience in college, my fall semester was a little bit rough because online is not my thing. So like it was really hard getting used to it, and like it was really hard knowing that so much was like writing on it, because like, you know, like in college it's like you're paying for the classes, like it's affecting like your future. And so like it was really stressful. I would say that like all the habit, like I would get into very good study habits with whatever time that you have left in high school. Like last semester I attempted to write all my dates in my planner and never finished, but this semester like I literally sat down and wrote down, like it took me at least 6 hours to write down all of the dates for like all the classes that I have. And I think the more organized you are, the easier it is to see how much space you have on your plate to add on to other things. Like there's some, like especially if you're on campus, like I no longer live in the dorms, I got an apartment because colleges are very lenient like right now because of COVID. Like there's no required meal plan, there's no required housing, like you can really just like take advantage of all of that. But it's really nice having like people around here. It's a little bit harder to stay focus because you like everyone's just like trying, like having fun, like it's like you have to make sure that like you're like, you know, constantly like keeping up with your own schedule and not allowing yourself to like forget that you have to go to class or anything like that. So far I've preferred asynchronous because it allows me to do my work on my own time. Like I can make, if I like knock out everything in the beginning of the week, then like, you know, I can like go out on Friday or like something like that. But I just would say like good study habits. Campus is really fun. The people are really fun. You're going to meet some awesome people.
Yeah, so on the topic of class, what has been your favorite class, if you have one yet? And maybe why did you decide to study what you're studying right now?
Okay.
If you don't know, that's okay.
All right. So hands down, my favorite class is this. I'm the honors college at Virginia Commonwealth University. And I don't know why I said the full thing, but VCU. And it's called Flourishing, and it's basically a mental health self-care class, and it's required to take. You have to take it if you're an honor student. And I had my first class the other day, and let me tell you, when I fell in love, like I fell in love. Like the teacher was like, you get a grade for going to the gym, you get a grade for keeping a journal, like you get a grade for baking something that you like. And like my assignment for this week is to like write 3 things that happen good every single day. Like it's just like promoting mental health and like understanding how important it is to be like how important well-being is. And it like helps you like distinguish like the differences between like positivity and like well-being and like toxic positivity and like all that like fun stuff. And like I think that even after my first class, like I'm just so like I really want to talk to the professor about like TAing it next semester.
Shreya, that is so fun. That sounds like such a great class. I know the class that is my favorite is actually outside of my major, but it's called the Environmental Humanities. It's a very niche class, but it is so fun. It's what's called, I think, a starter class because this is their first time ever running it. So you get the side of the professor being new to it and experiencing it with us and us kind of learning through it. But it combines psychology, sociology, philosophy, and environmentalism. So it's right up my alley. It's something that I love talking about. And to add on to that, even though you have a particular major, the best part, at least in my opinion, about college is being able to take these fun, exciting classes that even though they don't fall in your major, it's something you're interested in.
Yeah, my favorite class was called Intro to International Politics. That was my hardest class, but it pushed me to my comfort zone because I never had to do that much work for a class before. But it felt very rewarding because the things I've learned I could relate in real life. Like now, when I read an article with something internationally, I can process that uh not like a political scientist. I'm not that at that level yet, but like you feel like you have a better insight to things when you read on the news when it comes to international politics. So I found that very interesting. And like just the amount of content we learned in that class was very rewarding as well. I didn't think I could learn that much in one semester. So that was one of my favorite classes. I just found it interesting, I guess.
Um, that's so exciting to hear. I'm so happy right now. Just hearing all of your stories are making me so happy. So sorry that I'm being a little lame. So the next question is, so we talked a little bit about class and academics. What is something that I know with being online, it's a little bit hard, but how has making friends been? I know you all talked about this a little bit. You talked about some of the activities that you're involved in, but are you involved in any activities at school? And if so, what are they? And how often do you meet? And what does that look like for you?
So I can speak from this from an online perspective, which may be something you all are experiencing right now. It was a little bit challenging the first semester, to be completely honest. Not being on campus, not having the experience of having roommates and going to the dining hall and meeting people in person in classes. But William and Mary's been great as far as offering. They have, I think, close to 150 or 250 organizations. So anything you're interested in, they I'm sure have something for it. But I've been able to join a few organizations. We have like an international relations club, which does Model UN, if you are familiar with it. We have an organization that's like a mock trial that I've been a part of, and I've really gotten to find my niche within the William and Mary community, which I think is so fun when you have people that like the same things that you do or in the same major as you, and they can kind of point you in the right direction and give you advice or words of wisdom, especially if they're older people or upperclassmen.
I actually applied to a program right out of high school. It's a pre-health LLC, a living learning community. So you live with the people that are in this community. And I applied senior year, summer of senior year. The program actually started in the summer. So I think like once you get accepted to colleges, I would really look into like whatever summer programs they have, because there are a lot of like LLCs and stuff that you can live with. And I probably think my LLC was the best decision I've made. I was able to live with people that had like same interests as me. It was like easy going into college knowing that I had a few people that I already knew, like from the LLC. The resources are great. The people, like there's directors, there's people obviously above that are like handling the program, and they're amazing. Like I can literally reach out to any of them and be like, hey, this is my super irrelevant question, and they'll like answer it like without being annoyed. Like they're very helpful. Yeah, that's, I would say like just look into the programs that your school has. They don't have to be major related. I would also say that organizations are the one way that you can branch out and like do your personal interests that don't have to be school related. And I would really say like do that, cuz like that's like your self-care.
Yeah, before even coming to the college, I met my suite mates online through our college's Facebook group. So we got to meet each other, and now we're all in a suite. So most of the time I spent hanging out with my suite mates and some awesome people just across the hall. So that's immediately I found a friend group that I am a part of. The first semester, I mean, I tell everyone this, like I lived under a rock because I spent most of the time just studying. And even though I didn't spend much time like socializing, I still got the opportunity to meet some amazing people. Um, it's crazy like the different people you get to meet in college. Some people, everybody has their own quirk, everybody has their own like piece of awesomeness that they share with the world, and it's awesome just like seeing different people from different backgrounds and different experiences and learning from them. That's one thing I've honestly had a great time experiencing. Like I mentioned before, I'm in the volleyball club, so I got to do something physically active like twice a week in the afternoons. In college, they have lots of sports clubs. So if you don't even want to join a sport to compete, you can join like a sports club or a sport I think what's it called? Intro. I forgot the name, but you can join a sports club. As Abigail said, our college has like I believe over 400 clubs the last time I checked on their website. There's so much to do, even with COVID. Uh, you'll have fun. That's all I can say.
Oh, awesome. That's so exciting. So, including like clubs, activities, and classes, what does a day in the life look like of you as a freshman college student?
So mine, I know for me, as Amir said before, time management was a problem for me at first. I know. So it honestly, I block out my days. So I wake up pretty early. I have a very busy schedule for Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I have a 9 a.m., a 10 a.m., and 11 a.m. class, so right back to back. But I've had to learn, okay, if I have class from this time, then I'll be doing homework from this time, and I've allotted this amount of time to doing extracurriculars. And I'm, as Miss Rudd and Miss Wood know, I struggled in the past with balancing extracurriculars and my academics. So it's something I'm really working on in college, is finding a really nice balance. And I've done that personally by having a planner or something online, whether that's Google Calendar or a note sheet, to plan out exactly what I'm doing throughout the day, what time I'm spending on which activities or homework assignments or classes or things like that.
I think last semester, one thing I really regret not doing is having a schedule. Trying to think that you can balance everything on your own is a myth. Just don't do it. Don't try it. Don't attempt it. Like, it's not gonna happen. This semester, I am trying to wake up at 8 a.m. every morning and go to the gym. But it hasn't been going so well so far. But I'm trying. I found a workout buddy who said they would drag me out of bed. So hopefully that goes well. Asynchronous, I recommend blocking out days whether or not you have a class or not. Like if just because you don't have a Zoom class, that doesn't mean you shouldn't set aside like an hour and a half for that class at least. They give you blocks, like once you watch the lectures and stuff, like you have enough, like if you give yourself the time, it won't be difficult. But if you try to, like, people think that asynchronous is like I can just do all my work on one day, and no, you will. That's why people don't like asynchronous. I wake up at 8. I do my work until like 4, around about 12. Sometimes I have classes. I have like only 3 or 4 asynchronous ones this semester. Living in an apartment's a little bit different because I canceled my meal plan. So I have to actually cook for myself. And it's like weird trying to like run in between classes and like trying to like make a sandwich or something. So me and my roommate decided that we would like cut veggies up like at the beginning of beginning of the week. So it's easier to just like put it together. Not it's a lot of balancing. I would just say like really like focus on it and keep your priorities straight always. Like learn to reward yourself, but like always remember that like you're here to study. So like that party, that like hanging out with your friends, like anything can wait. Like whatever it is, like if you don't have your stuff done, like just don't worry about it. Like it'll happen again next week. You're not missing anything.
Yeah, I'd definitely like to bounce off what Sharia said. Uh, there's always time for that one thing like something you want to do, there's always time to do that later. The first thing I told myself coming to college, like I'm on a mission, right? And that's to study. Everything else is extra. So the first 2 weeks, it was a bit rough adjusting to the schedule because everything was new. But I kind of took things to an extreme. I don't know. So like these were my days. My friends think I'm crazy for it. This semester is gonna be different, of course. So I'd wake up at like 3:30 or 4, and then like study. I don't- study until like 8, eat breakfast, do all my classes, and then study until the evening, and then I don't know, work out or do like my extracurricular and go to sleep. So like I barely saw anybody for most of the semester. It worked out, but the problem was like I burned out like 3 times. So the balance is key. Um, you don't want to do too much, but you also don't want to do too little. So that's what I'm focusing on this semester. I don't want to do too much. Um, I'm into cooking, so I'm cooking a lot more. Even though my college requires me to have a meal plan, I'm still cooking. So that's a fun way I try to balance out my time and try to slow down. In terms of schedule, that's really it. It's Google Calendar. You probably heard of the Google Calendar is my best friend. My second best friend is this app called Notion. If you learn about Notion, will help you organize your entire academic life. If you search it on YouTube, you'll find out immediately why. So those two applications helped me a lot with scheduling.
I would say Notion really helps. It's a big thing here. Like everyone's like, yeah, Notion. Well, the biggest advice that I got from upperclassmen coming into college was take the first couple weeks of your first semester and just scale your workload. Like, don't try to go to college and add a bunch of extracurriculars like right off the bat, because like scale your workload and understand how much free time you'll have. Like, finish off all your work, like prioritize. Like one thing that really helped me was writing down all the dates in my planner, because not only like is it there for when I'm busy and the semester gets busier, like I still know what's due when. It also helps me see what class is going to be my heaviest class, because I write my dates like one class at a time, so like I can see like, okay, this class has a lot more assignments than like all the other classes. So like it helps you see like where to prioritize your time. And then with all the extra blocks that you have, like time spots, you can fill that in with fun extracurriculars. But like always just like prioritize your school, and then like everything else will just fall into place.
Can you all talk a little bit about classes and, how many classes you take? Because I know, it's a little bit different than high school, and they're based on credits, and just kind of explaining, how you set up classes and what that kind of looks like for you.
So I know at William and Mary, we have something called Degree Works. So it is really helpful. And what it does is it pretty much lists from top to bottom, what is your requirement to graduate from William and Mary. So it'll list your foreign language requirement, your math proficiency, and pretty much any additional. We have like what's called Call 100, Call 150 classes. They're like your liberal arts education. But this system is really helpful in choosing classes, because it'll tell you your requirements, and then you can adjust your classes based on what you need, depending on if you came into the college with any credits. And I know for me, it's been really helpful to kind of figure out. I know I've made a 4-year plan of each semester. What do I need to take? What do I want to take? What are my goals? And additionally, and I'm sure Ms. Wood would be able to help you with this too if you ever need it, but figuring out for your major in particular, what courses you need. I know as an IR major, we have an entire website of a list of, you need this government class. And I didn't know going into IR that you needed like 5 or 6 economics classes. So figuring out what you need and determining a schedule has been really helpful for me.
Yeah, the scheduling out beforehand will help. I promise you, you're going to change your mind about what you want to do at least once. Or at least you're going to rethink about it. But it's always good to plan ahead. I think it was like General Eisenhower. He had a quote where he said that we relied on our plans are what made us successful, but things never went out as planned. So plan anyways. Your classes, if you just search your major at your college's website, they'll show you what classes you need to take. And there should be tools, at least once you get accepted, there should be tools online that shows the schedules of the different classes. So one thing important to note is try not to have your classes back to back. That's a mistake I made. I had last semester, like on Thursdays, I had 4 classes back to back in the morning. That wasn't the best experience. So honestly, look at yourself, see how you would like your classes scheduled. If you're a morning person, schedule your classes more in the morning. If you're an afternoon person, try to schedule early, sign up early for those afternoon classes or those midday classes before they're taken up. And just try to first look at the classes you need and have like a tier list, right? Because you're not going to get every class you want because they're going to get filled. Some of the classes you need are going to get filled up. So find the class you want and then find alternatives for each class.
We also have DegreeWorks. I think it's super useful. It tells you exactly how many credits you have left to get to your degree. It allows you to mess with it and put in majors and minors to see how many other classes. Like you can literally like just mess with it and it'll tell you exactly what you have to do, exactly what classes you have to take. I think I would say register as early as you can. Most colleges, if you are an honors college student, you get early registration benefits. Like we get to register almost a week before the rest of the students at VCU, which is really beneficial because we can just pick all the classes that we want. It's low-key unfair to everybody else. But and then Coursical, if there's any classes that you really want to take, I would definitely recommend Coursical for your first semester. It's this like tracking app. If there's a class that you're looking to switch into, you can track it and it'll tell you as soon as it's open. And then you can switch right into it. It only allows you to do 1 free class per semester, but I've used it both semesters. Other than that, I would just say like pick your classes based on if you look online, Rate My Professor, just Google it. Like, and I would say just because it's like a bad rating does not mean the professor is bad. Make sure you read the comments and understand like the people, like what their teaching style is and like what people struggled with, because if that's something you're good at, then that professor would be a good match for you. Other than that, speak to upperclassmen. Most of them are willing to tell you which professors are good and which professors are difficult and what their teaching styles are. Yeah, it's really like you can sort of make your schedule exactly like how you prefer it, basically, as long as you're on top of your stuff.
I just wanted to echo what Shreya said really quickly, because I think I've used Rate My Professor for almost every single class. And in particular, it really helps you gauge the kind of professor that you're taking. So like, for example, this semester, I have a professor that's like, okay, you don't have to come to class. You don't have to do this. You don't have to write essays. All you need to do is take your exams. And I have other professors where attendance is required and you have 4 essays already and you need to do X amount of reading. So it's definitely helpful to gauge what the professor requires out of the class, depending on what kind of student you are. And Rate My Professor has been vital in determining what professors are going to work with my schedule and my preferences as a student.
Thank you all for that. Okay, so I've got more questions, but if you have questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat and I can ask them as well. My next question for you all is, how did you choose the school that you're at? And what is your favorite part about the school that you're at? I know that it's a little bit different, you know, being online, but with your experience thus far, what's your favorite part?
Okay, so for me, straight out of high school, I was so confused as to like what school I wanted to go to. VCU has been on my mind since freshman year. My brother goes here. So it's been like, he was like the first one in our family to go to college. So like VCU has been the college that we know. And I really love it here. The city vibe is great. Deciding money was a big thing for me. I really want to go to post grad, and that's something that I'm very sure of, whether it's law school or medical school. I know that I want to go somewhere. So trying to spend as little as I can for undergrad was just the smartest financial decision for me. Looking back at it, I would say any school you pick, as long as you work hard enough and take advantage of everything that they have to offer, you can get into any post-grad school, or you can achieve all the things that you want to achieve. My favorite part about VCU is definitely the fact that it's integrated into the city. Most people don't like that, and it's weird at first because like you don't know who you're walking past, and like on the streets, like it could be a college student, like it could not be. But I think it's great to just have that escape. Like I don't like feeling like I'm stuck inside of school, or I'm like stuck in this like environment that constantly reminds me of school. And VCU just allows me to get out and experience Richmond for Richmond, like, and not just for VCU.
So I know when well, the pandemic hit, so it actually adjusted my plans. I was actually committed to an out-of-state school prior to deciding on William and Mary. The pandemic definitely changed my point of view. And one of the biggest reasons that I chose William and Mary is their financial aid. And one thing that I would do for anybody who's even just considering a college is do a calculator online. And Miss Wood, I'm sure, has a bunch of links to them. And have your parents, or if you're the one paying for college, fill it out, and it'll give you a very accurate estimate of what the cost of college is. And I know it's helpful for me making the decision if it's going to cost $30,000 a year or $5,000. So it's really good to gauge that. And I know William and Mary has been great so far, but I think hands down my favorite part has been their alumni connections. For me, I actually went in being a psychology major and transitioned into an IR major. And I did that because of a conversation that I had with a William and Mary alumni. So they are a really great school as far as alumni, and they tend to always come back, whether it's in the form of meetings or if they have sessions or if they come back to teach. So that's been definitely my favorite part about William and Mary.
So the reason why I chose William and Mary was because I didn't get accepted to UVA. No, that's not the main reason, but the financial aid was a big factor. Uh, my my main okay, UVA had a big part to play, but financial aid was like the other half. My goal was like, what's the cheapest college I can get into? Even though William and Mary, like their tuition and board is like 40,000 a year, their financial aid is very generous. Like they paid half of my tuition. So look beyond what it costs, the cost of living and the tuition is per year. Look at how their financial aid works. Look at scholarships. Some colleges, they offer merit-based scholarships, meaning like how well you do at something or your grades. Some only do it based on financial need. So that's another thing to keep in mind. For example, now, Miss Wood, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Like some of these Ivy Leagues, they're super expensive, but like if you make less than 60,000, if your family makes less than 60 or 70, or in some cases 100,000, they pay off all your tuition. So it's not just the price tag. There's more factors to look into.
Another thing I would say is, not to rub it in Amir's face, but I did get into UVA, and I would say like when you go, any kid going into college, whatever college you decide, or even if you haven't committed to a college, I would 10 out of 10. I did this to VCU, and I did this to UVA, except UVA didn't listen to me. I would email the financial office and just be like, hi, these are my stats. This is my condition. This is what I have to offer. And, more money would be great. And VCU actually ended up giving me like a couple more $1,000 just from that email. UVA was like, no, acceptance is enough. And they didn't give me anything. So that was my deciding factor for VCU. But even after, I would say, especially during COVID times, a lot of colleges were given money from the government to give out to their students. So seriously, just reach out to financial aid and just be like, hey, like, I need more money. And I have good academic standing. Like, I'm going through this, like, this is what I bring to your school. And like, I would just really appreciate if I was like given something back in return. And they will most of the time give you money, even if it's a couple $1,000s.
I'm
Oh,
gonna
well,
try that.
oh,
Thank you.
I 15
yeah.
out of 10 recommend it. Like, I've gotten so much of my tuition paid off because of it.
Negotiation, and that's on college. Well, thank you all so much for all of your advice and your time. I know that, even if we didn't have that huge of a turnout, this is going to be recorded, and we do have a lot of like people that go back and view things on YouTube. So I want you to know that your time is well spent, and we will be sharing this with all of the seniors and the juniors at EV. Do you all have any parting advice or anything like that that you would want to share before we leave you?
So I have one thing in particular that I really want to share, and it was actually told to me during orientation at William & Mary, and it was that your experience in academics is not linear. And I say that in the sense that if you don't get accepted into a school, or if you don't get a scholarship that you're hoping for, if you don't get into a particular program, that is not the end all be all. And there are so many incredible opportunities out there at different schools and in different programs. And one thing isn't going to make or break your deal. I know at least in high school, I thought of, post grad looking, I got into college, I attend college, I graduate college, and I get a job, a very linear progression, but it doesn't have to be that way. There are so many experiences and things that you will, problems that you will endeavor, or really great things that you may experience, or opportunities that may come your way that are going to adjust that. So just remember that your experience in college and even in high school is not just a linear progression, and there are going to be great moments that are going to adjust that, and there are going to be not so great moments as well.
Building off of what Abby said, I have never had a C in a class before college. So I would say that, like, it's not the end of the world. I think it just, as long as you remember to reflect back on the class and remember, like, figure out what you did wrong, work on that, fix it for the next class. Like, as long as you're continuously making progress and want to do better, you should be okay. But I will definitely say, like, do not forget self-care. Like, do not forget to take care of yourself, because you can only help yourself as much as you cannot give what you don't have. So, like, always make sure that you're, like, refilling your cup, making sure you give at least like an hour to yourself, reward yourself. Like, we used to go, me and my sweet mate, if we got a good grade on exam, we would go to Village Cafe and buy ourselves the most expensive thing on the menu. Like, it was just like, like, you did it. Like, be nice to yourself, be kind to yourself, and like, don't push yourself so hard to the point where you can't reward yourself for your own accomplishments.
So one piece of advice I'd like to give everyone watching this is that when spend the last moments you have in high school to think, study, and act like a college student. So what I mean by this is learn to manage your time as if you're in college. Learn to study as if you're a college student, right? Prepare yourself so when you get into college, it's not as big of a shock academically. Learn things like active recall, space repetition. These are some study techniques. Learn time blocking. That'll help with time management. And build these habits. These habits will take time to build and will take effort and discipline. But if you can master them before getting into college, you'll be way ahead of many of your peers.
Study habits are also trial and error. So, like, just because you pick one study habit does not mean that's your study habit. Like, if that doesn't work for you, drop it. There's like at least 15 other study habits. Try something else. And right now in high school, like, this is your time to like experiment with it and like work with it. So, like, find something that works for you. And then the last thing for me was like, just don't stress. Like, I know that's so much easier said than done, but like, I look back at high school and I just wish I would have like spent a little bit more time like laughing with my friends and like enjoying the memories and like instead of like stressing about college. Cause like, it really is like, it goes by so fast. So like, bruh. Anyways, sorry. My dad just called. Yeah, no, I would just say have a good time. Remember to be mindful of where you are and practice mindfulness. Like, it'll help.
Well, thank you all for your time. And thank you, Avery and Naveed, for coming, and the counselors. Like I said, we're going to post this on YouTube, so feel free to share it with your friends who are still at Eastern View, who might not be here. But I want to take a picture before we go. So let's see. Where's my camera? Now I sound like an 80-year-old woman.
Wait, Miss Wood,
Okay.
I'll go get my dog.
Okay, that's good. Get your dog. Okay. Oh, you all are just so cute. Oh, we miss you so much. Okay,
I have my
everybody
pet
stay
rock,
tuned.
Eugene.
Oh, that's great too. Okay, ready? 1, 2. Oh wait, I have to be in it. I'm getting a glare on my. Anyways, 1, 2, 3. Yay! So cute. Oh, okay. Well, thank you all so much. It was so good to see your faces.
Well, thank you for organizing
Nice seeing you as well.
Good luck this semester.
Yeah, good luck to you all. You all have a good rest of your semester.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank
See
you
you
very
guys.
much. It's been a pleasure being here.
It's good to see you guys.